Hey, my name's Eric Watts. Welcome to this video. It's pretty much just about our, latest musical, Sweeney Todd. Pretty cool. Lots of people in here. Lots of good interviews. So it's really jam packed. Hopefully you'll be a little bit more in touch with Hebron Theater. That's the whole entire key to this. So I enjoyed making this video. Hopefully you enjoy watching it.
What was your first thought when you saw that you'd be playing the role of Sweeney Todd?
Well, originally I was kind of scared because Sweeney's a hard character to play. You have to have kind of the right amount of character and an actual real person to make it still relatable to audiences. And it was challenging. And I knew it was going to be challenging. I think that's what scared me the most, because I wouldn't be able to just kind of glide through it. But it was really rewarding.
Sweeney is a part that requires a vocally trained actor who can hit notes from bass to tenor. How have you worked to prepare yourself for this role?
Well, I'm in choir. I've spent 4 years in choir, and a lot of my vocal training comes from Miss Forrester, my choir director, Miss Latham, and my private voice teacher, Miss Montgomery. They are awesome. They always help me through all my issues, so through that, my voice has grown.
What was your favorite song from this production?
My favorite song was, it's in the final sequence kind of thing. Is that, okay, I can't say that. It's in the final sequence when the beggar woman comes into the barber shop and she sees the crib that was once Joanna's, and it's sort of revealed to you that she was the wife and she is Lucy and she is the person Sweeney's been singing about this whole musical. And I think that's a really big surprise and a big shock, and I think Rihanna Bell, who played the beggar woman, was phenomenal, so it was one of my favorite songs.
Miss Lovett is a difficult character to be on stage. What were some of the unique challenges that helped make you grow as an actress from this character?
I think for this character I had to really focus on finding the right balance between crazy and just eccentric, and of course aging myself and having the Cockney dialect was difficult. I think the most fun was finding moments to play puppeteer in the show and kind of showing the evil planning sort of side of Mrs. Lovett.
What was your favorite moment from this experience?
My favorite moment is the moment when Sweeney discovers that the beggar woman is Lucy, and it's kind of revealed that Mrs. Lovett is known and that she has this mastermind side to her, and you see her kind of fall apart because this is her entire life built up in this one moment, and everything goes away so fast.
How did your chemistry with Brian offstage help you with the onstage chemistry between Lovett and Todd?
I think that is so important. Brian and I built our friendship and we built our partnership. We had to learn to trust each other because that's what they do on the stage. And finding our ease together, we kind of found how we worked together, and that helped us on stage, knowing each other's cues and seeing each other's body language, and building our friendship off stage really helped us build our characters' relationship on stage.
You're the comedic relief in this musical. How did you feel when you saw the cast list?
At first I was, not really at first, but obviously that I wanted Sweeney because it's the lead role, but it was either that or Pirelli, and I was super relieved to be Pirelli because, it's just a ridiculous role that I knew I'd have so much fun doing.
Your character had two different dialects in the same scene as he reveals his Irish true self to Sweeney. How did this impact your experience?
It taught me to really appreciate the diversity of theater, because, I mean, in the past year I've had to do like 4 different dialects, which it's really taught me that doing different dialects can really change a character.
Sweeney kills you first, yet you remain pretty busy backstage. What all did you do to help back there?
I pushed on a few different set pieces. I helped rotate the octagon, and helped a lot of people with their props.
Seems like the good Lord sent you for me.
No, love. I felt quite the same way.
What was your most enjoyable moment from this process?
I think my most enjoyable moment was probably being able to sing Not While I'm Around with Landry, because I think me and Landry have a special connection with each other and we love each other a lot, and I wanted to sing that song with her from the beginning, and now I got the opportunity to, and it was nice.
When did you find out that you would be playing the role of Toby?
I found out about a week and a half before, because we opened on a Thursday, and I found out the Monday before show week, so about 10 days I got to put it together.
Your transformation into the crazy side of Toby was interesting. What were your main character choices in these final moments?
Well, for one, I had to figure out how to walk not so girlish, because I have kind of a specific gait, people tell me, where I don't move my arms at all, and I'm very, swift. So I tried to, hunch over a little bit and walk like a boy, and then when I'm sitting there, not to sit with my legs crossed, slouch a little. Just physical traits that I don't normally have.
Does not know the great Judge Turpin.
Who is your inspiration for your character of Judge Turpin?
My inspiration was more of just going for the essence of creepy, I guess is how you would put it. That's when I started, and then I started losing what to look for. And so I went and saw Skyfall, and I don't know why, but that villain was I don't know, he was so creepy that it just worked. And I started tying some of the things that he did in there and incorporating by reading through in between the lines, and eventually it turned into Judge Turpin.
Describe how you felt the first time you were dropped down the trap door.
The trap door was scary, to say the least. I was frightened. I think it was more of just the mental thing. When I first saw it happen, I was afraid for my life when I first stepped onto that balcony. And then when they initially dropped me, I tensed up when I shouldn't have, but it ended up being alright, and I started having fun while doing it, which was really weird.
Was Pretty Women as fun to sing as it looked? Talk about rehearsing the song with Brian.
Pretty Women, I think, out of some of my best high school memories, just singing that on stage was one of them. Brian's great to work with. He always comes prepared and knows his stuff, so I had to come up to that. So rehearsing outside of school was weird for me, but I really worked on Pretty Women, and eventually it just became, a joy to sing instead of something to dread when looking forward to on stage.
That's all very well, but what are we going to do about him?
Later on when it's dark.
How was this stage management experience different from last year's Beauty and the Beast experience?
This year was different because backstage the set was a lot more complex. We had to fit everything, I guess, kind of like a puzzle with the octagon and moving it on stage, having it not hit it while it was rotating. It was just a lot more to factor in.
What was your favorite moment to watch from the best seat in the house?
My favorite moment to watch was when the Barber chair flew in during God That's Good.
Who did you see the most growth in as an artist during this show?
I saw the most growth in Brian. He really transformed into Sweeney Todd, and I think he did a really great job.
In working with the actors in this show, what technical skill did you improve on the most?
Well, I definitely improved more on blocking, because I never really learned how to do that, and so I got a lot of help from Jordan in the process, and so that's the main thing.
What was your favorite moment during the rehearsal process?
My favorite moment in the rehearsal process would definitely testing out the trapdoor and dropping people through and just seeing what happened then.
What performance stood out the most by the end of the run of the show?
I would have to say that my two fellow stage managers, Jordan and Jeremy, because I can't really pick between one, they both always stepped up throughout the play and helped me get through it and just made it run smoothly when things could have gone bad.
In your musical experience, what did you enjoy about this form of theater the most?
What I enjoy the most about musicals are that we gain special bonds with whoever else is in the show. During Sweeney Todd, we gain special bonds with all the actors and all the techies, and it's not something that you can take the time to enjoy throughout any other show.
What did you learn the most from being a tech ASM?
What I learned the most from being a tech ASM is that you have to be able to appreciate and learn every single tech aspect of the show. Even if it's not what you're good at, you should at least have some sort of experience or knowledge about each part. So when you're teching a show, you know exactly what should happen and when it should happen.
If you had to describe Sweeney Todd, the experience, in one word, what would it be?
Cynical.
I have news for you, my friend. In order to shield her from the
Describe how you tried to use the pipes in this show.
Well, I definitely used the pipes to match the mood of the scene. Most of the barbershops were brighter yellow if there was actions going on, like songs taking place. And then like in the beginning when it was this shipyard, we had like a blue for like the ocean and kind of stuff like that, and red, deep red when there was killing going on.
What was the best part about lighting this musical?
The best part about lighting in this musical was definitely seeing it all come together. Lights is kind of one of the final look to the show after everything else was ready and coming together on stage. Lights just kind of set the mood, definitely, and created a better scene.
What was your favorite scene to watch from the booth?
My favorite scene to watch from the booth was, I think, Pirelli's, because it was just like a funny song and there was a lot of stuff going on stage, and it was just entertaining for me, and yeah, to see the audience's reaction.
Take me through the design and construction process of the chair.
Well, when Mr. Butler and I were talking about the chair the first time, he wanted out of a specific chair, and he wanted me to create a chair that would collapse on itself. But the chair that he had wanted was a little too flimsy, so as I was thinking through it, and I came up with different ideas to show him, and one of the ideas I had come up with was to find a recliner, like maybe online or something, and to have that go and create a trapdoor that would fall down with it instead of just creating a chair that would collapse on itself, because that wouldn't be safe for the actors or techies or anyone. So when I first bought the chair, it was a large Lazy Boy blue recliner and had a bunch of cat fur on that. And I had to completely take all the cat fur and all of the blue fluff off of it before I even brought it to school, so that it would be easier to like take apart for all the rest of the stuff. And then we added legs to the chair so that it would stand up higher and look more like a barber's chair. And we stained it and added little accents that were from the chair that was going to be originally used as the barber chair.
As one of the Octagon people, what was the most challenging part of moving that set piece?
Well, at first, there were 6 of us underneath the Octagon, and we didn't have really good chemistry, and I honestly think that having a bunch of people who are good friends under there would have been a little bit better. But I mean, as the show went on, it was a lot easier and we got to know each other better, so that helped. But since the Octagon wasn't a circle, it was more ovalish, I guess. When we would spin it for almost up until the first show, we would go completely off our mark and hope that somehow we could get back on. And then we found a way to keep us on our mark, where me and another guy would stand in the middle and just hold on and just watch the mark while everyone else would run it around and spin it. So,
as shop foreman, how did your set complement the steampunk vision for the production?
I think the set complemented the steampunk because with the gears and how the colorings that were used and the painting, and I really think that how the octagon was moving made it look much more mechanical, and how all the different set pieces came up to it. It made it look like a kind of like a machine, and then the gears and the colors were all very steampunk.
Mr. Todd, you have to help me. Mr. Todd, please. Mr. Todd!
Costumes for this show were stunning. How many people were on your crew?
We had 9 people total in our crew, but 3 of the girls were also on props crew. So they would come in and switch out whenever they were needed some places.
Which costume piece was the most fun to build?
I think the ensemble costumes were the most fun to make because they were so detailed and they took the longest at the time. And my favorite part about the ensemble costumes were the corsets for the ensemble girls. They were each jewel-toned on one side, and on the other side they had a really pretty pattern, so they were double-sided and you could switch them inside out.
How did the steampunk vision help you as a costumer?
The steampunk vision helps us think about how detailed we wanted everything and what accessories to add to everyone. So, for example, if we wanted to make something steampunk rather than plain and ordinary, we could add gears or metal objects that were made out of copper, silver, or gold, and make the steampunk vision easier to see seen by the audience.